Well, welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I am Linda Cry, the host for this event, and what we love to do is to feature businesses in the Omaha metro area. And today we get to learn from and hear from Kristina Hill with HomeShield out of Nebraska. So first of all, thank you, Kristina, for giving us some of your valuable time today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Well, let's just get started. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your business partner and what your business is and maybe how you got started.
Yeah, like Linda said, my name's Kristina. I am the owner of HomeShield Roofing and Exteriors. We have locations in Lincoln as well as Omaha. Just opened our Omaha location January of this year. So we've been in business. We're going on our 6th year in business. We've made it over that 5-year hump when most businesses go out, if they're going to. So we're in it for the long haul now. We do residential and commercial exterior contracting. So work with homeowners, with builders, general contractors, property managers, anyone who needs help with the exterior of their home or property is what we do. My husband is my business partner, and he heads up the commercial division of our company, and I head the residential section. So my expertise, I work more with the homeowner side of things with storm damage. If you have a leaky roof, or like we had here recently, condensation forming on your ceilings, I work with homeowners with all of those types of issues.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that. You really do connect with people with their valued and cherished homes, right? And then on the commercial side of it, there's also the needs for all of the exterior. And isn't it interesting when people drive by homes or buildings, they make assumptions. They do make assumptions about what happens inside of that space, especially the commercial. So I'm sure making sure that they have a good facelift and keep things current, and especially from storm damage, that's really important.
Oh, absolutely. And you kind of take it for granted until it's too late. So that's protecting your most valuable assets, whether that be your business property or your personal property or your family. And you don't realize what the exterior of your home does until there's an issue with it.
For sure, for sure. Well, how did you get into this business in both sides of it?
I get that question all the time. Being a female in this industry is, why are you in this industry? What are you doing? And so my story in the industry starts back in 2019. My husband had started the company and got to a point where he needed to potentially hire somebody else to come on board. And we sat down and had a conversation of what that hiring process might look like, who that person might be. And the question was posed of, well, why not you? And I'm like, why not me? I don't have a reason why not me. And so we made that decision that I would jump headfirst into this industry, knowing nothing about it, never being a little girl and raising my hand and saying, I want to be a roofing contractor when I grow up. But here I am and absolutely love it. My background stems from event management. I worked with the largest nonprofit here in the state, and I managed all of their events. And so I kind of see the correlation between event management and what I'm doing here. It's kind of just an event in itself. I have a budget, a timeline. I have to put out fires along the way and problem solve, work with multiple different parties. So a lot of it does correlate. And I really do love that aspect of it and being able to bring my unique skills to the table. I think that's truly my favorite part of it, is being a little bit different and having a little bit different perspective. We can really set our company apart.
For sure. It's kind of your niche or your niche, if you will.
Yep.
So your transferable skills has served you well. And, quite honestly, that's what we like to do with organizations, take the mystery out of running a business. It doesn't have to be as complicated as we make it sometimes. When we invest in systems and we invest in people and we invest in marketing and get a return on that. So let's talk a little bit about what was one of the biggest surprises for you as you jumped into the discovery process and the learning curve. What would be one of the biggest surprises of owning your business that would have been different than the event management that you did before?
There's no real course out there, a 101 course of how you run a business. You can find little tidbits here and there of different things, but you don't know until you know, to be quite honest. And we always tell ourselves in this business, we didn't go to school to be business owners or be roofing contractors. And so each mistake that we make along the way, we're somewhat paying a little bit of a tuition so that we can learn a little bit and grow a little bit. But the mistakes are just that. It's a learning opportunity so that we can continue growing, continue changing, and better ourselves for the next time. So that's what I would say is there's a lot of unknowables, I guess, when you're owning a business and figuring out things of what works and what doesn't work. And really expanding your personal network so that you have people to ask questions of and ask what mistakes they made. So you don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel every time. You can reach to your network and ask those questions.
Beautiful, beautiful. I like to talk about business being simplified to this level. It's about people and process. You are finding a need and filling a need, and that's really what you're doing. And how you do it is through investing in a team of people, and also in putting in good processes so that you've got some consistency in your service, in your output. So let's talk about that a little bit. I'm all about testing and measuring, right? Let's figure this out. Let's find out what works and what doesn't work. What would be one of your biggest learnings? Think about a time when something didn't go as well, and what did you learn from it so that you could make improvements?
Yeah, I think you actually hit on it when you spoke about processes. So when in the beginning, it was just myself and my husband that were running this business, and we didn't necessarily have processes. It was talking to each other every day, or yeah, it was up in our minds. We knew how things were running. And so now as we're growing the business and we actually have a team underneath us, that doesn't translate very well. So we had to learn the hard way that this is something that needs to be trainable and needs to be written down so that everybody is on the same page and figuring out what is the process, what happens when somebody comes in, what happens when somebody files an insurance claim. What does that look like for everybody? Because to be unclear is to be unkind. And so all throughout this, it's a major growth experience and learning curve as we're building this team to ensure that we're doing it properly in the correct way and having a culture to where everybody knows what their responsibilities are and there's no miscommunication.
Love it. Communication is a process, right?
Yes.
So even that is a process. So let's talk about then your accountable culture, your team. What do you look for as you're adding people to the team, and how do you clarify for them what you expect?
So actually, one of our core values is accountability to a higher standard. So we take that very seriously. And honestly, being somebody who came to this industry with no experience, I'm not even looking for experience when hiring for our team. I don't care what your background is, what your experience is. Do you fit in with our culture? Do you agree with our core values? And the answer is pretty simple, a yes or a no. Because if you don't fit with those core values, you don't fit with the company. And that's okay. That's totally okay. There are lots of other companies out there and lots of other things for you to explore. But for me and my company, I have a duty for myself, my family, but also my current team that we're all held to a higher standard. And that standard is to ensure that we're taking care of our company and our employees' families and our families for the long haul.
Beautiful. And that is part of it. Your business should give you more life, not take the life from you, right?
Absolutely.
And that's when you set a good expectation and create the environment for that, it can happen. So let's talk about that a little bit. How do you and your husband as your business partner manage work-life integration? I don't even use balance anymore, because to me,
Oh,
it's out of balance because you need to be fully present there and then with family. What does that look like for you? How do you master that? Or still figuring it out, maybe?
I would say we're still figuring out. I mean, even being 6 years in the company, we're still newer. It's gotten easier as the years have gone on. In the beginning, there was no such thing as work-life balance. Our life was work. We literally started this business from our kitchen table, I had no dining room at that point. We had cork boards hanging up all along our walls with our process and with our leads and everything. Since that time, we've been able to move into an office space, which has helped give us that separation, which is definitely needed. I also have certain personal boundaries with myself and my phone where I set it to focus after a certain time so that I'm not responding to emails or responding to customers who reach out late at night. In the beginning, I felt like I had to do that. I didn't want to lose business or turn people away. But at this point, it's if you're in it for the long haul, you have to have these boundaries put in place. We also try to integrate family as much as we can into our company. So we have a 13-year-old daughter who comes with me a lot of times to job sites, and she'll be running our nail magnet for us or taking pictures or doing door hangers with me. We integrate it because it is a part of our identity, being entrepreneurs and being business owners. It's part of who I am, and I don't ever want it completely separated because it is such a big part of my life.
Absolutely. You're raising up good humans when you show what a good work ethic is and what responsibility is and how you treat others and create jobs. I mean, when you think about it, that's really an important responsibility.
Absolutely.
Good for you. What's one of the challenges that's in front of you right now? What do you find that you're trying to address?
You know, with us being in kind of a growth process with our company, it's hard to know, make the calculated risks of when to grow and when to continue adding and when you're okay. It kind of feels like once you're at your full capacity, that's when you need to hire somebody else. But that's the worst time to hire because you don't have time to train them. But if you hire before then, you kind of have that lull period of what's everybody going to do? What if there's downtime? So it's finding that happy medium for us right now of what is our ideal team size? What does that look like? And there's no real solid answers of concrete numbers of what you should do and when you should do it. So it's just figuring out what works best for us and our company. And that's been difficult.
Yeah, it's finding a need and filling a need and then determining are you the ones to step up and grow into it for sure.
Mhm.
What did you use for your guiding decision-making criteria when you expanded into both communities? You said you're both in Lincoln and Omaha?
Yeah, so really what that was is it was the right person in the right seat. So we had his name's Steve. He's our Omaha project manager, jack of all trades, branch manager. He worked with my husband back in the day. Their paths had crossed and they worked together, and they said at some point in our career we will work together again. Fast forward about 15 years later, and now he's working with us again. He's a fantastic person. He knows so much about the industry, but he's in Omaha. And we don't love the idea of having him be so far separated from the team. And so we made the decision that let's build a team in Omaha because we serve Omaha very frequently. So instead of having those one location with the drive, let's have two locations so we can better serve the needs of those customers in that area and be a steady community presence.
Beautiful. Beautiful. It is key, right? Finding the right person in the right seat on the bus. Now you've got a fleet of
Yep.
buses. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. What do you do to continue to invest in your learning, to keep yourself energized, to keep the body, mind, spirit engaged? What is it that you do specifically?
Well, outside of my 4 cups of coffee every day.
Well, I'll cheers. I've got tea.
Um, for me personally, the big thing is building strong relationships. I think has been crucial in looking at finding your circle of mentors. I actually, when I entered this industry, that was very difficult for me as I had there was no real training or guidance outside of my husband, who's been in the industry for quite a long time. I was wanting somebody that I could ask questions of if I had them, and I wasn't finding that. And so I ended up creating an online community for women in roofing. And since that time, it's been about 3 years. We've grown to almost 2,000 members from across the United States and into Canada. And it's women just like myself who are needing guidance and mentorship and training and education to better equip themselves in this industry. And that's what we're able to provide. So that's a big part of my continued growth is I've met some really fantastic women from across the United States who are smarter than I am, more successful than I am, and that can really pour into me and help me grow this business.
Yeah, and when you've experienced that, is it fair to say that you also want to play it forward?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's all like in our group that we have, there's all walks of the career path. And so learning from others, and as I continue to grow in this industry, I'm able to pour back into those that are under and help pull them up too and
So
make sure they're
yeah,
successful as well.
so in creating that community, and there's great wisdom in that, is there a frequency of when you meet? Do you connect via Zoom? Is it a structured process? Is it periodically? What does that look like?
So our most active area is an online Facebook community. It's where anybody can post at any given time. We do have other opportunities for education, such as this Thursday, because it is Women in Construction Week. We have a meetup in Omaha where the Nebraska-focused areas will be able to meet up. We're meeting with an attorney to talk about DIY. Should I ask an attorney about that or do it myself? So it's really pouring into them as business owners and helping empower them to make those decisions and helping build their business. And that's a local event, but we do also have online happy hours where we all just get together on Zoom and things like that. During this week, Women in Construction Week, we have lots of different features and Facebook Lives and things along those lines as well. So kind of just trying to build that community and rally around each other and make sure that everyone feels supported.
Beautiful. And that really is, you know, who do we do life with? And whether it's at a personal level or professional level, I think we've all proven that post-COVID, that we are truly created as human beings. We need to be together and learn and grow. And that's when we could be at our best, for sure.
Absolutely, I agree.
Love that. Love that. So talk about your business partner, right? So unique relationship, and it's not uncommon for family-owned businesses. Role clarification, when did you sort that out? And what might be one of the challenges of being, you know, a family-owned business, if there is?
Yeah, you said it. Role defining. That was a huge issue with us in the beginning, was I didn't know what my role was or what his role was. And so working with your spouse, you definitely butt heads a lot because you have communication, but jumping into a business, it's a different level of communication, and you have to really figure that out and wade those waters. And so, like I mentioned before, to be unclear is to be unkind. And so by not having clearly defined, I do this, you do this, there's too much tension that can bleed through into your customer experience and your customer process. So very early on, we had to have those clear roles and really define what each of us does. I'm not going to say that working with a spouse is, you know, sunshines and rainbows all the time, but I can truly say that it's helped our personal relationship as well as our business relationship, because I know his weaknesses and he knows mine, and we can pick up the slack in those areas.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. A question about, you had talked about early on how you kitchen table and you had leads hanging around, and what's your marketing strategy today, right? Because every marketing strategy there should be a return on that investment that you make, not just an advertising expense. What is the strategy? What has been most successful for you, and what are you currently investing in that's working?
Yeah, so I think we take a little bit of a different approach to our marketing in that we try and be 100% value-based. We don't really do a lot of postcard blasting or door knocking or things along those lines, which is a little bit uncommon for our industry. We try and take a proactive approach to it. And so we are very heavily invested in our communities and in our networking approach. I'm involved in several groups. I believe Steve's now involved in 4 different groups in Omaha. And so it's planting those seeds in the beginning and helping build that trust so that when the time comes, the customer can say, I know somebody. I've already built trust with them. I already know their face and I already know the value behind what their company stands for. Instead of just showing up in the midnight hour, knocking on the door and saying, I'm here. We already have that relationship built. So that's been very large for us. We have not had a major marketing budget just because our organic marketing has worked so well for us. Most of our leads that we get are from referrals of past customers or our referral partners. I can say that we've spent very little dollars on marketing avenues.
Beautiful. So results-based, value added, the idea of relationship-based.
Yes.
People love to buy, they hate to be sold, right?
Mhm.
And they love to buy from people they know, like, and trust. And so, you're a great example of a proven strategy that, especially in the Midwest, right? We are about relationships, trusted relationships. And it's good to hear that that's working really, really well for you.
Absolutely. And it kind of seems too that you have to know your market a little bit. Lincoln is a very different market than Omaha is with how they do business. Lincoln is very, very relationship driven, but it's a long relationship driven. So you're playing more of a long game, where Omaha is more, if you are there and I trust you, we can do business. So know your market and know that it's the same thing is not going to work in each location.
Yeah, good to know. Good to know. Well, thank you for your time and your energy and your investment here today, sharing lots of great wisdom, things that have worked for you. I love your energy. I love your spirit, and I love that you are a female business owner in a industry that maybe we don't see a lot of women, but yet I bet you're very, very successful and very effective.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate your time and your interest. And that's been great.
Beautiful. And how do people find you? Out there on Facebook and website?
Yep. Website is just homeshieldne.com. We're on Facebook under the same name, Instagram and Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now, and then also on YouTube.
Beautiful. So we'll find you in social media.
Yes, absolutely.
And happy Female Construction Week. Is that what you called it?
Women in construction.
Women
Yep.
in
You were
construction.
close.
Celebrate. Let's celebrate that.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you.